It's Chance96 here with another video. I'm going to be talking about some newly shown statues from DC Collectibles. This time we have their Suicide assortment. So this, 4 of these figures, or statues, were announced and put on pre-order kind of early December. They showed, or they didn't show, but they announced Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Killer Croc, and Joker. They all went on pre-order. I did pre-order Harley Quinn even without seeing it. I pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store so I could cancel it if it didn't turn out well, but I was very much looking forward to this statue, and I've been super excited to actually see what they look like. Then recently, like maybe a week ago, they did announce Captain Boomerang as well as Katana, and as part of their assortment, and they didn't show them again. And finally, David Ayer, the director of Suicide Squad, did post a picture on his Twitter account of Harley Quinn last night, and now we do have a full reveal of all of the statues and everything. So very excited. I've been very much excited to see these statues for a long time now, so I am happy that we do have the looks of all of them. So I'm going to go kind of in depth on what I think of each statue, and I'm overall, the Suicide Squad is my most anticipated movie of 2016. I'm super excited for it, and therefore incredibly excited for the merchandise. And this is basically the first pieces of merchandise that we're seeing from Suicide Squad. Hope that Mattel has a good toy line for them, as well as Hot Toys. I would imagine Hot Toys is going to do basically the main 3, Joker, Harley Quinn, and Deadshot. But I hope that they do kind of go and do a lot of the characters. Actually, I would love. So let's start it off. We have Deadshot here, obviously played by Will Smith. The statue is looking pretty decent. I feel like his pose is a little lackluster. I feel like with all of the statues, that's basically my general feelings, that their poses are decent, but they're either predictable or just not extreme enough. You know, I love statues because they allow you to see a figure in a certain pose that you'd never be able to achieve with a figure, either just because the figure doesn't have that good of articulation, or they just don't look as smooth doing it. While a statue can really showcase that. They can obviously put the hands in whatever expression is needed. They can put the wrinkles in the clothing to match how the arm is positioned and things like that. So I really do like statues a lot for that quality over figures. But when, you know, a statue comes out that is in a pretty standard pose that a figure could do, it is disappointing, and this would be the case here with Deadshot. I think that his pose is, you know, not too much happening here. He's taking a slight step forward. You can see that his foot is a little bit off of the base, and he's just, you know, he's taking a bit of a step. He's got his arm kind of back a bit, and then he has one arm out where he's shooting. I feel like the arm is pointed up higher than he's actually looking, which I don't like. That is kind of a small complaint, but it is something to notice. I think that this face sculpt is decent, but I don't think that it is perfect. For DC Collectibles, you know, their face sculpts on the statues aren't amazing. They're not Hot Toys quality, of course, but usually they're pretty good. I feel like this is one of their weaker ones in this line. I obviously see the resemblance, however, I don't think that it's that perfect. And within such an iconic actor as Will Smith, everybody knows exactly how he should look. So they really should have put in some more effort, I think, on that face sculpt. But I do like the actual design of the costume, not just in the movie, but the statue itself really nicely. He's got ammo packs everywhere. And you can see that they have chose a base. It's basically a dog tag with the Suicide Squad logo on it. I think that's a nice base. One of the things that DC Collectibles does a lot is they have bases where one of the statue's foot is on the bases, and then one of their foot legs is off the base, and I don't really like that. You know, it just looks weird to me. You know, if there's a base, you should have both feet on it. And luckily, with the Suicide Squad line, they seem to have put everybody's feet on the base so that they're not, you know, off the base at all. So I am happy about that. Moving on to Harley Quinn, this is, of course, the one that I'm most interested in. I think that the character is great, and I can't wait to get a lot of the merchandise from her from this movie. So this is the first piece, as you can see, looking really nice. I think this is probably the strongest statue of the wave, and not just because it is Harley Quinn, but I think that they've done a really nice job sculpting her. And the only thing I can say that I don't like, mainly, is her pose is exactly what I expected. It's very Harley Quinn-esque, but but it's you know, not unique. Obviously, this is kind of the pose that we see Harley Quinn in all the time, so it would have been cool if they did sculpt her in a slightly different position than what we're basically completely used to seeing. However, they've sculpted her really nicely. I think it looks good. I think she actually has a strong likeness to Margot Robbie, the actress. Compared to all of these statues, their likenesses are either pretty decent or not that great. This one I think is pretty decent. It's definitely not Hot Toys quality, of course. However, with her makeup and the hair kind of over her face, it does hide some of the slightly lack of detail that, you know, DC Collectibles provides, because they're you know, cheaper than obviously a higher-end collectible source. So I do understand that their face sculpts aren't amazing, so I think that the makeup and hair and stuff kind of hides some of that lack of detail, so it actually looks really nice. And then the clothing detail I think is fantastic. The rips really do look realistic in her shirt there, and then the jacket, the wrinkles that have been sculpted are really nice, and the hands, even the slight detail on the fingernails is very cool. And just in general, I think that it's a really nicely sculpted piece there. I think it's really cool. The only thing I would say is that her tattoo right here, you know, I really noticed it because I've really never noticed it before on any of the pictures of her, and so I was wondering why that was the case. So I went and Googled you know, set photos of her on set for the movie, and I really have noticed that just about every single shot, this tattoo is much lower here. So I don't know if they've just sculpted the underwear a little lower or the tattoo a little higher than it should be, but I can't find a single shot of her in this movie where that tattoo is completely visible. Most of the time it's almost all completely covered except for the top of it, or at least the bottom is covered. So I do think that this is a little off, but you know, that's an extremely small complaint. It's just something that I happen to notice. So overall, really do love the statue, and we'll definitely be getting that one. Very excited for that. Alright, next up we have Killer Croc. I think that this face sculpt is really nice as far as the detail. I think that it looks wonderful detail-wise. However, I think the shape of it's a little off. I don't know why. He kind of bows out at the bottom here, and then he kind of goes up to a pinhead. He kind of has a long head, which I just think looks a little strange. And maybe it's just because of the hood or the angle of the picture, but it does look a little weird to me. I think I would have preferred it having the hood folded back instead of actually on. So that is something to note there. So, you know, the head sculpt I don't think is fantastic. The jacket looks wonderful, some fantastic detail, as you can see. Hands are nice, and then the overall posture is good. Again, I think that his pose is a little lackluster. I think that it could be a little bit more dramatic than that. For such a kind of fierce character, I think that it would have been cooler to get him in a really kind of crazy type of pose, but they went with a kind of safe route on that. So, you know, the statue itself looks nice, but not loving the pose. The Joker, this is of course his iconic type of image, because this was the first time we ever saw a picture of the Joker. He was in this pose, so that's kind of neat because it is a pose that we all recognize, of course. However, I just don't like the pose in general. You know, the statue looks really nice. It's just I really wish that he was posed in a different position as well as with different clothes on. I would have preferred him with the no shirt but just having the jacket, or kind of having that kind of light purple undershirt that he wears. I think that would have been pretty cool. I've seen him in a few set images with that on. I think he looks nice. And even the Empire magazine, I think that this would have been a really nice pose for them to do. If they could sculpt the electricity like really realistic looking, I think that would have been an excellent pose, and would have really preferred that. However, you know, this still is nice. It's just, it's not, personally, I would have preferred Joker in a different position, but I do think it looks nice. I think that the paint looks really good on the arms, especially on the torso. He looks quite pale, and that might just be because the light is obviously shined probably from above coming down, which is why you're getting some more shadows on the arms there, and why the torso looks so much more pale than the rest of him. So I would imagine that it's just the lighting that is causing that effect. Really do like the tattoos on him, looks completely accurate and everything, and the facial expression and likeness I think is pretty decent. The pants look good, and they do have Arkham written on the left side, which is accurate. Would have been cool to get his cane too, maybe even just his cane kind of leaned up against him or something. Just I wish there was just a little bit more to this statue, I have to say, because I would have really considered Joker, but just seeing the pose, it's personally not to my liking, but I can see if other people like it. I'm not particularly fond of the what he's wearing here. Alright, we'll move on to Katana. She is the member of the Suicide Squad who actually volunteered to protect Rick Flag. Is kind of his bodyguard, and she's not an actual prisoner. I'm surprised that they did a Katana statue. I'm surprised that they did a lot of these. I think that really would have just expected the main 3. However, they did make 6, which is just awesome. As you can see, she looks pretty cool, kind of dead-eyed, but I do like the seriousness that provides as well, so I can't complain about that. And looking really good, obviously, with the having a mask on. Some of her facial features are hidden, and therefore it looks like a stronger facial likeness altogether, so that is pretty neat. Her hair looks a bit just kind of all together. Wish that there was a few more strands here. I can't tell if this is a strand or a statue, or sorry, a shadow. I can't tell if it's actually a strand of hair or a shadow, but it does look pretty nice. This is a crack for sure, though. As you can see, sculpted really nicely, I have to say. Her pose I am quite happy with. I think that she is in a really nice, pose, again, that you can't really achieve fully with an actual action figure, yet it does represent her character quite nicely. So I like that a lot. And then lastly, we have Captain Boomerang. The likeness on him I kind of feel is the same as like Deadshot. I can obviously see it, however I don't think it's fully there. He's got a really kind of odd expression, but I do like the fact that he does have a nice expression, and from what we've seen with the latest trailer, he does seem to be some of the comic relief for the movie, and it actually does get me quite excited for his character in the movie, so I do like that he has an interesting facial expression. His hands here, I can't even tell what he's doing. It's hard to tell if this is a boomerang. I believe it is, but it's such a weird way to hold the boomerang. I can't see the other end of it. But he does look quite nice, just in his clothing, the wrinkles, of course. I like the kind of metallic finish on his jacket, as well as he is holding the boomerang there. And he's kind of, just taking like the slightest bit of a step, basically. Captain Boomerang is a character that I wasn't looking forward to, but since the last trailer, I am actually looking forward to him now. It's kind of disappointing to see his pose. That's the thing I don't like about the statue. The pose isn't dramatic enough, like I've said before, but I feel like he could have been in a really nice pose. Even the same face, I'd be fine with the same face, but maybe just kind of like throwing a boomerang and having it, like leaving his hand a bit and just connecting the boomerang to his hand via a clear kind of like a swoosh type of effect to make it look like it's throwing out of his hand. I think that would have been really neat, and I would have definitely considered getting the statue if it had a cooler pose, but because of this pose, I'm not too interested in it. So these figures are all on pre-order at the moment. I pre-ordered Harley Quinn on Big Bad Toy Store. They retail for $150 a piece, which I do think is quite expensive. It's getting kind of close to Hot Toys prices. These are in the same scale as Hot Toys. They're 1/6 scale, but obviously their quality is definitely not as good as Hot Toys. However, I really love the statues all together. I think that they look nice, and they'll be a nice team. On Big Bad Toy Store, they are selling them for $120 a piece, so there is quite a bit of a discount for buying them there, and then there's $10 shipping, so basically you can get these for $130 a piece, which is a much better price. So really excited for Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Killer Croc, and Joker are coming out July, and then Boomerang and Katana are coming out in August. I really do hope that they add a few more characters to the statue lineup. I would love to see El Diablo and Enchantress. That would be really awesome. I don't think I'd buy an El Diablo statue. However, I'd like to see what type of pose they put him in and what they do with his fire, because obviously it's a neat kind of function of him that I think that it can be translated really well to a statue. So I think that they could make that statue look really cool, although I probably wouldn't get him. However, Enchantress, I think that as long as she's looking pretty decent in the statue form, I would definitely get her. I feel like that she's going to be a character that we don't get many representations of, figure or statue. So whenever I have a chance to get an Enchantress figure or statue, I think that I'll definitely jump on that. So hopefully they do some more figures. And obviously they haven't done Rick Flag or Slipknot. Rick Flag is the main character of the movie, but he's like the most non-interesting character of the bunch, so I would imagine they won't do him. And then Slipknot is a character that I've never even heard of until this movie, and it is most likely, almost 100% sure that he will die, and he'll die pretty early in the movie, considering most of the shots of the entire team don't feature Slipknot, so I would imagine that he's going to die. So we're not going to get any toys for him, and I'm fine with that. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the DC Collectibles statue lineup for Suicide Squad. Alright, tell me what you guys think of these statues, and thanks so much for watching.